All right.
Darf ich ein paar Fragen stellen?
Oh, ich glaube, wenn dann müsstest du mit meiner Mama sprechen.
Ist die gerade hier?
Ja. Mama.
Nicht gefilmt werden? Okay. Ja. Und du, 2 Minuten oder so?
Nee, ich bin nicht in der Lage, im Namen der Galerie zu antworten. Und meine Großmutter ist die Galeristin, das heißt, die ist nicht hier. Okay, ich glaube, wenn, dann müssten wir sie fragen.
Das klingt strapaziös. Dann machen wir einfach so ein paar Aufnahmen. Ja, genau. Ja. Alles gut. Alles gut. Einfach fragen, wie das geht. Einfach so ein paar Aufnahmen. Wenn das flackert, also nur hier bei dem Stand. Und wenn es flackert, dann kannst du hier die Helligkeit nach oben stellen.
Okay.
We are now seeing, or we have now seen the gallery Helga Hofman from Alphan and Rijn in the Netherlands. And now we are still in the Netherlands, in the Hague, with Livingstone Gallery. What's your name?
My name is Jeroen Dijkstra from Livingstone Gallery in The Hague, and we also have a project space here in Berlin.
Okay, so you have selected some works for this fair. Which is the biggest work that you have chosen to show here?
This is already the 3rd time that we participate. First time we brought also this artist, Raquel Maulwurfs. She's from the Netherlands, but originally she's from Spain, Madrid, half Spanish, half Dutch, and she studied at the Art Academy in the Netherlands and now lives and works in Amsterdam.
And that's what kind of work, what material and what color?
Well, these works by Raquel Maulwurfs, they're always made in charcoal and in black pastel. And what's so special about her technique is that as a drawing technique, she also uses a knife to cut. So like box cutters, which sometimes are sharp, sometimes are blunt, but she can use it to actually add a 3rd dimension to the work. So she builds it up first with the charcoal and with the black pastel, and then in the end she uses an eraser, she uses the knife to cut into it, because that's also very special about the material. It's called a museum board, and basically it is a very thick paper, a very high quality, that's why they call it museum board. acid-free, etc. But also for her, it gives the opportunity to actually cut into the paper.
And what's the reason you chose it? Is it an aesthetical reason, or do you see something in it?
Well, what's really interesting with the work of Raquel Maulwurfs is that she's very fascinated about the world around us and how people treat the world around us. So how we burn the forest, how seas are become spoiled with oil, like the work that you see behind you. It's from a series called Black Sea. In 2010 was the oil platform Deepwater Horizon exploded underwater, and millions of liters of oil actually streamed into the ocean. And so then this series came to existence called Black Sea. This is actually even a smaller one. That's why I also like her work. She also works very large, so almost 3 meters by 1.5 meter. And those pieces are also in several museum collections in the Netherlands, for instance in the Rijksmuseum Amsterdam, but also in the Museum of Contemporary Art in The Hague.
And what are you doing in your Berlin project space?
The project space actually also started with this artist Raquel Maulwurfs. When we were able to use it in 2013, we wanted a place where artists can work isolated from their original studio or gallery, and so they have the opportunity to work in a gallery-like space, and they get 2 or 3 months time to build a collection. And often artists feel the pressure of a new show or a new art fair, and to come to Berlin and to be inspired by the city, they can actually work in isolation and then create this collection. And when she did that collection, we presented it right away at the art fair in New York, and she actually also won a prize there for her work. So it really helps for artists to be isolated here. We recently had another artist here in Berlin, Erik Matthijssen, and his work was presented at the Art Rotterdam Art Fair, and he also won a big award for the work that he was able to create here in Berlin.
Okay, wonderful. And now the fair is almost over. It's just an hour or something until it closes. Was it worth the journey?
Well, for us it's important to keep coming back. We were also at Positions, Paper Positions in last September here at Tempelhof. And because we have the project space here in Berlin, it's always very inspiring, and we meet very interesting people, and that already makes it very rewarding to be here, and I'm sure we'll be back next year.
That's great to hear. It was nice to meet you. Thanks for the time, and have a good journey back and some more nice time here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Sorry.
Hi, I'm now for a different format, and
With questions
maybe
or no
yes, also with questions if you have some time for us. We have met before for our social media content,
questions?
but we are now at the Krupa Gallery from Wroclaw, from Breslau, and we have talked to you a few days ago, and now we are here again, and I see some more red dots. Are you happy with how the fair developed?
Yes, of course. The red dots show it, but I think the most important are the notes in my black notebook, where we put all the contacts for the visitors, not only collectors but also gallerists and artists or people who write the blogs. And I really appreciate it, because we do not concentrate only on commercial work in our gallery. We also make uncommercial projects that are developing for us and for artists and create networks. So we are happy to work with new partners.
That's very nice to hear. And maybe we can talk once again about this work series, about this artist. Okay, the artist is there, but he doesn't want to talk. That's also okay.
Artist is already tired after 4 days, but
But I guess you can also tell us something about it. It's graphite on paper, it's some drawings, and it's excerpts of what kind of, it's some very sensual and very intimate drawings, but where do they belong to? Where do they come from?
so this is a topic of the, I think, intimacy, love, pornography that Lukasz is exploring since his studies. So it's on and on coming in his works, and it was also well noticed by the curators. And he's inspired by films, and mainly pornographic films from the 70s and 80s. We do not always tell it that with a little bit black, that the history afterwards wasn't that happy, because the AIDS epidemic came afterwards, and so there is also something here. They look like young gods, but it was
Some of these young gods have fallen because of a pandemic, of course.
And it's also the same, let's say, aspect of working with the gardens and palaces, which are also beautiful for us for the first sight, but in fact it's also places that are deserted by the main people who live there, and so now they are given back to tourists or everyone. But in fact, the real life, the real history, and happy or sad, is somehow gone. So.
Okay, so you are actually showing some beauty in the moment of beauty, which has afterwards fallen and which is fragile.
So yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Okay, and what I also really like about the hanging in your booth is how the images are composed and mixed, and also
thanks to the artist. It was his idea, and he painted a few frames in different colors.
So it's all the same frames, but it's just painted in different colors.
No, the white ones were done by the frame shop, workshop.
Yeah.
But the other ones were handmade by the artist. So he decided and just sent it to me the night before we came here. That I have an idea. So.
Okay. And the way of putting them in a relation, and also leaving some gaps, and also putting them not in a row, for example, but using them to do some. To make some to close them within some frame. That's also, is it part of the works themselves, or do they stand for themselves also?
No, it was our idea how to expose it. So we didn't want to put them just solo. Or we thought this combination, like a cloud, is interesting. And in our exhibition, we also rather make it. We do not put it in a standard way, just we try to be more creative.
Okay, wonderful. So thanks that you are here.
Thank you.
It's nice to hear that you enjoyed the fair as well.
Yes, and the team.
Thanks.
Really, it's very nice. I didn't know anyone before, and we feel very good from the first moment.
So you will come back to us.
We will come back. If
Wonderful.
you accept us, we will come back.
I think so. Thanks.
Thanks.
And a good journey back.
Lächeln hinter der Maske.
Now I'm standing with the gallerist of the gallery that had the longest journey to come to us. Where are you from?
We're from South Africa, about 80 kilometers north of Cape Town, and we're about 9,500 kilometers away from home now.
Okay, that's impressive that you came anyway. Let's talk about your works. Which artists did you bring to show in Berlin?
We brought two very different artists, one who is more a graphic artist with very clean work, very structured work, and the other artist is very spontaneous. The work is completely different, and many people here at the show have said they can see that it's not work from normal European artists. They say there's something special about these pictures, and it could be because South Africa is a troubled country. It's a country that's trying to turn into a democracy. Not easy. There's a lot of upheaval there, and I think this is where some of the inspiration for this work comes from.
And where's the details in the artworks where we can see this struggle and this different perspective?
I don't think you can actually see it in details in the artwork. I think it's just that if you look at the artwork, it's quite strange. It's quite it's not pretty, but it's very, very. It attracts your attention, and the more you look at it, the more you discover in each piece. And yes, the artist himself is a recluse. He doesn't really like people too much. I have been to visit him. I try to talk to him. He doesn't really want to talk. I wanted to take a picture of him in his studio. He won't have any pictures. So so that's this one.
And these are collages, or is this oil on paper, or what is it?
Oil. It's on card. He's used card for a lot of this, and it's a mixture of oil and collage and pencil, and there's even a piece of masking tape on there. And the background of this picture, for example, the wallpaper is a serviette, a paper serviette that he's used.
Okay. It really looks like a wallpaper.
Yeah. And the other artist was, we explained to him the paper positions concept of not only using paper as a medium, but also using it as a material to do art with. And he was really inspired by this, and he said he really pushed himself to find out how much he could do with paper. And
so he actually uses it as just to put something on, but he also prints something through it.
For example, these printing plates. Now, printing plates are usually made either of lino or metal or whatever. Yeah. He has used paper.
Okay.
and he has stuck paper on here.
May I also try to, okay, he engraved something in the paper
Yes,
card.
and he has different kinds of paper on here because some of the paper absorbs the color in different ways, and it also transfers in different ways onto the picture. And you can actually see that
Yeah.
this is a series of 5 pictures, and they're basically all the same, but they're all different.
Yeah.
Okay, and the interesting thing about these paper printing plates is that he said he could do about a maximum of 10, because after a while the paper starts dissolving, starts breaking because of the moisture in the paint going into the paper, and so it's a very, very interesting thing. He also does a lot of embossing, which you can see here.
Yes.
Okay, and let's see if we can find this. Okay,
I really like that you even brought the tools with which the artists
and it's
work.
all made of paper. Okay, so these are his embossing plates that he used, that are usually also made of a hard material.
Yes, but he also manages to do some very thin and fragile lines inside, and
you will
still they are so forceful that they can.
Yeah, you can see that. Okay,
yes. And are you happy with the dialogues that happens? Are you often on European fairs?
Oh, this is the first time because we want to try and see what the reaction will be here.
And what was the reaction? Was it
very, very, very interesting? A lot of people. We were very lucky to be the main picture in the Tagesspiegel article. We didn't expect that. A lot of people have said that this little corner is quite special because it's very different. We had, of course, a logistical challenge to get all the artwork here, 9,500 kilometers. So we couldn't present it in frames and that sort of thing. This we just did quickly so you can see what it's like. So it's a sort of an alternative way of presenting things. And I think a lot of people saw that. So we were pleased about that.
That's very nice to hear. So it was worth the journey.
Definitely worth the journey. And the art's going to stay in Germany for a while. Okay. The Haus des Papiers, the museum for paper, has been very interested in everything. They actually bought some art for it that they're going to put in the museum, and we've gone into a cooperation with them to actually sell some of this artwork in their little shop.
Okay, so was this contact that you had before, or was it all happening in the last 4 days?
She just came across and she
came across. So I think that's one of the examples where you can see that the concept of this fair worked.
Absolutely great, yeah.
Great, congratulations, and I wish you a good journey back. And also, I hope to see these works or some of these works in the Haus des Papiers soon.
They will be.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.